All right, and we are live.
I don't think
Forbidden Chocolate has just reminded us that today is May the 4th, which, as we all know, is the... Uh-oh, you are bright. You are very bright. Which we all know is the holiday for Star Wars. So, to all of those Jedi out there, may I wish you a happy 4th, and may the 4th be with you. Valeria doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about. She's like, I don't know what any of this means.
I just hit my knee. I'm in pain.
Oh, you're in pain. You're in pain. But Valeria is incredibly happy today.
Me?
Valeria, yes.
Oops.
You don't know, you don't remember why you're happy today? Because Valeria has just researched and bought a new bathroom mirror. All right. Look at that smile. It's the weirdest things that make women happy. A new bathroom mirror, and she is just the happiest person in the world
With
right now.
30% discount.
Can't forget that 30% discount. I apologize for being a couple minutes late today. I just was like super sleepy, and I couldn't. I was like trying to get ready for the show, and yeah, it just wasn't happening. I do need to look up what the. Well, that's irrelevant. Should we just get going? Is there anything else that's exciting about our private lives, or should we just get going with the news? Are you reading somebody's text and ignoring me again, as usual? Wives. Unbelievable.
I can't open.
Yeah, I'm aware there's a huge spot on my forehead. Thank you for telling me that, darling. There's nothing I can do about it. There you go, folks. Giant spot on my forehead. Sexy.
Do you want me to spend 10 seconds and fix it?
No, you can't, because it's sort of recently messed with. So it's not
Okay.
in a state that makeup can be used on it. And I do use makeup occasionally, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I am a beta bitch, as they say. Now, you kind of have to use makeup when you do videos, if you use like harsh lighting like we use, because of glare. Because of glare. If you have like a low, what do you call it? Low dynamic range camera, your reflections will come out white and you'll look really, really shiny. Fortunately, I have a high dynamic range camera, so I don't have to use like makeup like most people do. But if you're on TV, you should use makeup. When we do commercials, when I've done commercials or TV, they obviously have makeup artists.
People say it's okay. There's only 20 of us watching.
Yeah, I know it's true. But I noticed when I first started doing YouTube videos, despite the fact that I had a nice high dynamic range camera, is that if I had... one time I had like a spot like right here, and I was doing my show really close to camera, and everybody like freaked out. Like all they were talking about in the comment section was like, dude, that spot is huge. What's wrong with you? Like you gotta like fix that thing or whatever, and nobody was listening to what I was saying in the video. So I learned pretty early on. I was like, okay, Valeria, can you give me some concealer? You can't fix this.
Distracting me.
It's I don't think you're gonna, you think you're gonna be able to fix it? All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the reality behind the scenes. Better? Yeah, well, there's a little bit of a white spot, but otherwise it looks pretty good. So her skin is a little bit lighter than mine, so it'll look a little bit more pale, but yeah, that's not bad. You did a pretty good job, sweetie. But what I figured out was if there's something that's a very obvious issue, it's probably better for me just to cover it up. Even though I'm a guy and we don't really like putting on makeup. Hold on. Ashley's writing us. Andrew Beerwort says, yes, but you really do have to wear high heels. But you really have to wear high heels here. But do you really have to wear high heels? That's very funny. That's very funny, Andy. That's good. So anyway, I figured out that it's better for me to cover up the major spots just so I don't distract from what I'm trying to say if there's something that's very obvious. And so, yeah, I think that YouTubers should have, what do they call that? Concealer? I do think that YouTubers should use concealer.
Not concealer. Usually it's just like a shine remove.
No. Just for like what you did, like the spots.
It's a concealer.
The shine remover thing you can use if you have a low dynamic range camera. There are things that you need to do. It's really just a technical thing. It's less about like vanity or like You know, there's those guys. This is a popular thing that's really weird. Is when you go into like a Nordstrom's and you go to the counter to buy your stuff, or like what stores do this? Kind of trendy stores that young people go to. You'll have guys behind the counter that they're selling you their clothes, and they'll be wearing makeup like women.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit lighter.
Like Sephora.
Yeah. It's sort of like a natural makeup, but it's really flipping weird. I don't know if you guys have this all over the country, but guys will wear makeup out now. Like regular guys will wear full-on makeup in LA. I think they're mostly gay guys, but it's weird to look at because they look very almost artificial, and it's just weird. It's not feminine exactly, but it's just artificial looking. It looks really weird. It's a little feminine. But you know, it's weird because if I do a show like this, or if people are doing YouTube and it's a guy, you don't want to be like those guys, you know. So you kind of feel like that. So it's kind of you want because those guys are detestable. They're kind of repulsive. You know, you're repelled by men who wear makeup. Hey, Aston's trying to get into the shot.
What do you want, baby?
I'll switch over to Valeria. There we go. Cat's trying to get in the camera there. All right, so should we just get into the news now that we've said a bunch of nonsense?
Yeah.
All right, it's all you, baby.
Racist woman verbally assault Hispanic police officer.
Oh yeah, geez, where did I put that story? Did I open that? Ah, yeah, here we go. Sorry, I put this in the wrong order. Okay, we're good now. Yeah, this is a crazy story. So so this woman, you might have seen this on Fox. They covered this on Fox last night. But this is just basically a YouTube video that's gone viral of a woman who I assume is black. Her face is covered up in the police footage for some reason. But let's go ahead and play this. This is the police officer didn't have a police-issued body cam, but he wore his own. And then he posted this footage to show people basically what cops have to endure now. It's pretty crazy. All right, let's play this.
Yes, you are, ma'am. Good morning.
And the speed limit is 40, and I was going 38, so why are you harassing me?
You are correct. I pulled you over because
you're a murderer.
Because
yes, I started to record because you're a murderer.
You can't be on your cell phone while you're driving.
I wasn't on my phone. I was recording you because you scared me.
You can't use your cell phone while you're recording.
I can record you.
May I have your driver's license?
It's at my apartment.
What's your apartment?
It's at my home. I'm just taking my son to his.
Do you have your driver's license?
I mistakenly left it at home.
Do you have a picture of your driver's license?
Yes, I do.
May I have it?
And can you call your supervisor, please?
I already did. He's on his way.
Good, because you're a murderer.
Okay.
Harassed today because I was going under the speed limit. I was going at 38.
Yes, you are, ma'am. Good morning.
And the speed limit is 40, and I was going 38, so why are you harassing me?
You are correct. I pulled you over because
you're a murderer.
Because
yes, I started to record because you're a murderer.
You can't be on your cell phone while you're driving.
I wasn't on my phone. I was recording you because you scared me.
You can't use your cell phone while you're recording.
I can record you.
May I have your driver's license?
It's at my apartment.
What's your apartment?
It's at my home. I'm just taking my son to his.
Do you have your driver's license?
I mistakenly left it at home.
Do you have a picture of your driver's license?
Yes, I do.
May I have it?
And can you call your supervisor, please?
I already did. He's on his way.
Good, because you're a murderer.
Okay.
And so you're giving me a cell phone ticket? Is that why you're harassing me?
Not harassment. Yeah. I am enforcing the law.
I have a right to record the police when they're harassing me.
By all means, but you can't do it while you're driving.
I wasn't texting or none of that.
Do you have that picture?
You scared me and made me think you were going to murder me.
Okay, well, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Well, that's not just a feeling. You're a murderer.
Okay. Can you zoom in on that for me,
Sure.
dear? Thank you.
And I'm perfectly legal, and I'm a teacher. So there.
Congratulations.
Murderer. You're a murderer.
What's your last name? I can't see that there.
Well, here you
go,
murderer.
Stop shaking. Zoom in on that for me,
No,
ma'am.
because you're scaring me. You're threatening to kill me and my son. Can you give me the
well,
iPad,
I'll tell you what, you keep smiling. You're on camera.
You're trying to threaten to kill me.
I didn't say that.
I'm not smiling. You're the one who's crazy.
Hold that still. I can't see that. Is this your car?
Yes, it is. And you're trying to say I stole my own car because you're jealous?
Yeah,
Is that what
I don't
that's
think
about?
so. You wait for me right here, okay?
You're jealous.
Citation, all you need to do is your signature. He's only citing you for using your cell phone while you're driving. That's it.
Here you go, ma'am. Sign inside the
For,
red
being
box
a,
right
for
there.
him being a Mexican racist. What is that name?
It's on the
Gasso.
citation, ma'am.
Here you go, Mexican racist. You're always going to be a Mexican. You'll never be white. You know that, right? You'll never be white, which is what you really want to be.
There you
want to
go,
be
dear.
white.
Have
you,
a good
ma'am.
day.
You want to be white so bad.
You want to be white so bad, she says. You want to be white so bad.
I have a couple questions.
He's a Mexican racist.
I have a couple questions.
Yeah, what?
First one, just for myself. To clarify, sometimes I forgot my driver license home. So, like, I'm not going to prison if they will pull me over.
Well, you wouldn't go to prison anyway. You just get a ticket for driving without a license, which they didn't give her, which I think is a shame. She should get a.
So
She should
you
be cited with
So
driving.
if you don't have driver license, you will get a ticket, even if you know your license number and they can check it.
Yeah, you can't drive without a license. That's
Yeah, I can.
illegal. You'll
Okay.
be fined for that.
Okay. Second
She
question.
wasn't because she's. I don't know why they were being
Second-
nice to her. Which I don't know why they're being nice to her.
Second question. I know that teachers in America are not really getting paid that well.
Well, they're
And she's got a
supposedly not getting paid that well. I don't know if that's actually true. Not in LA.
Mercedes.
Yeah, she's driving a Mercedes.
Mercedes.
Yeah, there's this idea that like, oh, you know, yeah, we don't have a Mercedes. Do we have a Mercedes, darling? No. What kind of car do we have?
Hyundai.
We have a Hyundai.
Hyundai.
We have it's about the cheapest car as you can get.
It's not. It's actually not the cheapest model SE. Mine is SEL, which is the second after the
Well,
cheapest
okay. The point
one.
is, it's not a Mercedes. All right. So we don't have a Mercedes. We don't drive a Mercedes. All right. I talk to thousands of people every day on my show. We don't have a Mercedes. She's a teacher of what, like 20, 30 students maybe. She teaches school and she drives a Mercedes. So she's a black woman. There is this concept in America that black women are oppressed, right? Obviously, she's not oppressed. She's talking back to police. If I talk back to police like that, they would throw the book at me. She's treated better, I think, because she's a black woman. Her life is not a bad life. I mean, she's driving a Mercedes. She's basically telling cops that they're rapists and murderers, and they don't do anything to her at all, right? They just treat her like the princess she thinks she is. She's obviously got a pretty decent gig going. And like, what kind of sense of entitlement do you have that when you're pulled over, you can make all these excuses and criticize cops in this vicious way, and you think that that's acceptable? Even if that cop, like, first of all, the cop didn't do anything wrong at all. Okay.
No, he was super nice.
He was super nice.
I love his American flag pen.
Yeah.
I need to have some of those pens because I have two pens, like a solid, kind of not super expensive, but like metal pen.
Yeah, it's a
pens with
great, it's a
American
beautiful
flags.
pen.
I kind of want to have a couple of those in my car in case the cop will stop me, like give me a ticket, whatever. It might happen.
Yeah.
And I will just
Hold up the pen.
like my little present to police officer,
Oh, you can't give it to him. That's a bribe.
Really?
I don't know.
No, not really.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't think so, but somebody might. You gotta be careful about those sorts of things. There's these nitpicky people in the world be like, oh, you gave him a bribe, But anyway, this woman, it's bizarre to me the delusion that black people are oppressed in America. This delusion. A black woman in a Mercedes gets pulled over for using her phone, which everybody would, by a Mexican police officer, and he's a Mexican racist / murderer who wants to be white. This is what she says to him, and no real repercussions to her. She just gets the ticket for using her phone while driving. Which, by the way, in LA, they enforce that like hardcore. Like you cannot
My
use.
friend was stopped 2 times for having her phone
Yeah.
in her hand.
Was she black?
She's white, pretty girl.
Yeah. Yeah, they will stop everybody in LA for using their phone. They're really hardcore about that. I don't think it's a particularly good law. I think that can be abused sometimes. I don't know. I don't think in this case it was. But it's the law. Police are required to enforce it, and therefore he was enforcing that particular law. Okay, fine, whatever. Her becoming irate and treating him like that, whether he's a cop or he's a regular person or whatever's going on in the situation, he doesn't deserve to be treated like that. I mean, what kind of human being is she? She's absolute scum. That woman is absolute scum. Just self-indulgent, self-absorbed, completely disrespectful to people around her. She's the kind of person that nobody likes, but that people pretend to like so that she won't be horrible and annoying when they're around them, and then getting away from her as soon as they can, and then talking to their friends like, I cannot stand her. I cannot stand her. But to her face, everybody's really nice because they know she's like a little bit crazy. That's the kind of person she is. This is how I talk about women who have like positions of authority at work. They're like managers or directors. Like we do movies sometimes. We get female directors occasionally. They're almost always psychopaths. And I always think like, everybody goes home and talks crap about this director, but to her face, they're always nice to her because they don't want her to lose her mind while they're talking to her, and they just kind of want peace on the set. And they don't want everybody's a little bit. They're not scared of her like, oh, she's like a physical threat or anything like that. Just people just don't want to endure somebody screaming and yelling all the time. It's like super annoying, and so there is this fear that these kinds of people will lose their minds. But their thought, people who act like this, their thought is, people respect me. No one respects you. See, this is the problem with the way these kind of like really super rude, arrogant, smug, vicious, cruel people. This is the problem with the way they think. It's like a Pavlovian response, right? They act horrible to everybody. Everybody acts super nice to them to keep them from like losing their minds, and they think, oh, when I act horrible to people, they respect me, right? So they get it twisted. The problem is, no. When they're nice to you, it's because they're scared you're going to lose your mind. It's not because they like you. It's not because they respect you. No one likes you. No one likes that woman. I guarantee anyone in her life, no one likes her. Even her kid that she's taking to whatever does not like his mother.
No,
she's a horrible person.
I don't think that's...
You don't think I'm right?
In this case, like child and mom, I don't think the child will... Maybe
no, I may be wrong about the kid.
Scared
I may
of
be
her.
wrong about the kid.
Maybe scared of her, but I don't think the children are kind of like, even if your parents or mom is horrible, you will still love them.
I've met a lot of people who don't like their mothers, who don't like their fathers.
No, that's from case to case.
If you grow up with a parent who is enough of an a-hole, you know, there are kids that will stop liking you. And she's, I don't know how far she is into that territory, but my guess is, aside from maybe her son, I doubt there's anybody else in the world that likes her.
Why he called supervisor immediately, like even before?
I'm not even sure he called a supervisor. It was just maybe his partner
later.
Or something.
Like he came later, the supervisor, because usually they don't just call supervisor for.
I'm not really sure why that other guy had to come in and
because
talk
this
to her.
week he was like, I already called. I was like,
there is a tendency with cops to just work in teams generally, so that the person that you're addressing understands that the police are working together in force as opposed to just independently. Because like one person is fairly easy to attack anywhere in the world, anytime, unless it's like some like massive steroid dude. Most people you could get a punch in anyway, but multiple people are much more difficult to attack. So it just gives you a sense of, oh, there's a lot of people here, or at least more than one person. I'm in a position of, I'm in a defensive position as opposed to an offensive position. They have the upper hand essentially. So it's kind of just a show of force. That might be police procedure in LA. Just if somebody's being difficult, bring the other cop in just to show them there's two of you and you support each other. Like I don't exactly know why they brought that other guy in, but it was funny that when they brought the other guy in, who was, I think, clearly white, right? He looked white to me. She continued to attack the Mexican guy. You'll never be white. You want to be white so bad. Like, what a racist psycho.
I want to be white so bad. Do you know who wanted to be white so bad? Michael Jackson.
Well, they say he had a disease. I don't know how true that is. Maybe he did. I don't know. I don't know. All right, so shall we move
I
on?
want to read a super chat related
Oh, please do.
to
Yes.
this
Yeah.
a video from Patron Daniel. I see welfare recipients driving Range Rovers. What WTF?
Yeah, it is
Also
weird.
buying junk food with food stamps and then buying lottery tickets with cash. Well, I have a something about Range Rovers. I actually personally myself, you remember when I said when I will start like making more money.
Yeah, well, we both
wanna
decided
buy
that a Range Rover is a good
yeah,
car.
I really
We
like
both
this
like
car,
it.
but I heard the story from Russian American. She lives here for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And they are wealthy people.
Yeah.
They are, her and her husband travels all the time, live in a wealthy neighborhood. All of their neighbors in Atlanta, it's in Atlanta, sold their Range Rovers because if you drive Range Rover there, you will stop by black people. They will try to kill you because you drive Range Rover.
Why? I don't understand.
Because there is a thing started that rich car being attacked, especially Range Rovers.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So I was like, well, I guess I don't want to buy a Range Rover right now because for some
not
reason.
in Atlanta. Not in Atlanta. That might just be a regional thing.
Maybe, but you never know. Maybe it's gonna be like in the whole country. If you drive Range Rover, you might be in trouble.
Yeah, maybe it's more popular. I don't know. That's a good question. It's interesting. Didn't you get? Well, no, you got hit by a Chevy Tahoe, I think it was. Well, yeah, I mean, but that's not really what he's addressing. What he's addressing is this idea that people who have welfare are able to afford very expensive things.
Yes, but
And
I just
Patriot Daniel, this is the answer to that question. It's called welfare fraud. Okay, so this is a huge problem in America, right? Democrats always want to feed their social programs with more money. But the problem with that solution to whatever kind of issue you're trying to deal with, ameliorate, is that 50%, 50% of all welfare in America goes toward welfare fraud, right? Is taken by fraud, right? So 50% goes to people who genuinely need it, and 50% go to people who are committing welfare fraud. And so, yeah, you see people who are supposedly on welfare, but in reality, they're not eligible for welfare. They actually get money from other means. Think about it like this: if you deal drugs, how much taxes do you report?
zero.
Zero. Right? There's plenty of jobs that are.
Or you cutting trees, not trees, but weed.
Weed. Yeah. Well, there's plenty of jobs that revolve around sort of the drug trade or prostitution or other kinds of criminality, and you don't report that income, right? You either have to launder the money or you have to just not report it. And then what do you do?
If it's cash, there's nothing to report.
That's right. And so you can get welfare, even though you're already making money doing other things, mainly criminal activity. So a lot of the money that it goes toward welfare is illegitimate, right? Illegitimate, fraudulent. All right, let us move on to the next story, darling.
Andrew Beerwood says, send
Okay.
a super chat, says, this is for Valerian Michael Jackson comment.
Thank you, Andrew. All right, you want to read the next story?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
that's not a product placement. Unbiased juror.
Unbiased.
Unbiased, sorry. Unbiased juror of Chauvin trial exposed as Black Lives Matter activist. Surprising.
Black Lives Matter activist, right. So this guy is apparently a Black Lives Matter dude. And, excuse me, coronavirus. When he was, being potentially going to be on the jury, the judge had to ask him, are you biased and all this kind of stuff. Like, do you know anything about the Chauvin trial already? Do you know anything about this incident? And this guy was like, no, I don't know anything. I never even heard George Floyd. I don't even know who that is. Right. And then he gets on to the jury. He convicts Derek Chauvin, and then he leaves and he starts doing interviews. And in one of these interviews, he says basically like, being on a jury is a form of activism. It's a form of activism. You can make change in the world by being on a jury and convicting people you don't like, apparently.
I don't understand how they were fighting those juries.
Yeah. Yeah, this whole
Who
thing was a
never
mistake.
heard about this case.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be possible.
The whole world heard about this case.
But, you see this picture here. So he's got this Black Lives Matter shirt on. It's Martin Luther King here. Get your knee off our necks. Black Lives Matter. Then he's got a Black Lives Matter hat. Clearly this guy, and this picture was taken before the Derek Chauvin trial. So clearly this guy knew about this stuff. He was involved in it. So let's have a look here. This is a story in RT, which is Russian Times. I normally don't read from Russian Times because, Russian propaganda. But in this case, it's the only place that I could find these pictures. For some reason, all the other articles that I read didn't have the pictures. They didn't have this audio from this radio thing. My buddy, I told my buddy to invest because, he's not a rich guy. Like, he's like us. He's like regular folks. And I said, look, just if you have like $1,000 to spare, throw it into what? I'm right. Was I wrong? Was I wrong? Was I wrong? Was I wrong?
When did you tell him?
I told him, if you have $1,000, just throw it into Dogecoin.
When?
Like a week ago, something like that.
A week ago? Okay.
Maybe a few days ago. Yeah, about a week. And he said, well, let me look into it. I said, yeah, look into it. I mean, don't be too... Because he was going to maybe put in $5,000. And I said, yeah, that would be great. But... make sure that you're confident with it. I don't want you to like lose your money. It is a risk. And I said, but you can throw in $1,000 right now. If you don't mind losing $1,000, just throw in $1,000 right now. And then you don't have to, it's not going to be too stressful. And then just read up on it and watch your YouTube videos. And then when you're confident, put in more. Right. And he's like, okay, I'll do that. And, but he didn't put in the 1,000. And I was like, and a few days went by. I was like, did you put it in? He's like, no. I'm like, you should really put in some money right now. I think it's going to go up. No. Then today he's like, hey, I'm trying to sign up with, and it's literally gone up like what?
60?
60%?
Not 60%, 60 cents.
To 60 cents. But I think from, what was it at, 40?
20%, 20%.
No, not when I was talking to him. I think it was probably something more like
38,
30.
36 probably.
30 something. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But it has, so I guess it's almost doubled. It's probably doubled. So he would have made $2,000 by now on the 1,000 that he threw in, which isn't a ton of money, but it's nice. It's always nice to have, 100% return on investment in a few days it's
better than stock market.
Yeah, but the truth is we're getting kind of high now. Valeria thinks it's going to go to 99, but if you do put money in, I know this is a tangent. We're not talking about the news now, but Valeria thinks that it'll go to 99. If you do put in, just make sure it's not money that you can lose. Make sure it's money that make sure it's not money that you can't lose, right? Make sure it's money that it's okay if you lose it because it could go down. It could drop. If it does drop before
you become an investor and you just wait.
Yeah, if it does drop, if you have a little bit of money in that you can get, you can just say goodbye to, and it drops, just wait because it'll probably go back up and it'll probably go to 99. So I think it's a good idea still to put in, even though it's gone way up in the last year. He didn't put in.
And what did he write?
And now he's like, hey, is Robinhood secure? They want my social security number. I'm like, yes, it's secure. I'm like, I can't believe you didn't put the money in. It would have. I said 1,500, but it would have been $2,000 actually. Now I think about it. He writes, oh damn, I'll have to have my account up this week. My wife will have one up as well. So the two of them, because I was telling them our situation, and he said, yeah, that's good, because I work and you have more free time, so you can focus more on the crypto.
Yes, they need your social security because that's an official.
Yeah, you're transferring money between your bank and all this kind of stuff.
They will send you a form if you will.
All right, sorry for the digression, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get back to this story. So it turns out that this guy is totally biased. He should never have been on the jury. And what this can do is this can cause this can be used as a justification for nullifying the trial and getting a new trial.
Is it like a big story right now, and nobody's reporting on it?
It's a big story amongst conservatives, but not a lot of leftists are talking about it. Let's go ahead and play this audio so you can hear what he said about being on a jury and whether people should be on juries.
We're talking to Brandon Mitchell. He was juror number 52 in the Derek Chauvin murder trial. Brandon, before we wrap, many people don't like jury duty and probably wouldn't respond to the letter that you get in the mail. So what message would you leave to those about saying yes to jury duty?
I mean, it's important. If we want to see some change, we want to see some things going differently, we got to get out there and get into these avenues and get in these rooms to try to spark some change. And that's jury duty is one of the things. Jury duty, voting, all of those things are things we got to do.
And how can people follow you on social media or tune into your podcast?
Yeah, so the Wholesome Podcast.
We're talking to Brandon Mitchell. He was juror number 52 in the Derek Chauvin murder.
All right, so there you hear this guy talking about this, and he's saying that being a jury is a good way to spark change. Being a jury.
So, is this story just gonna disappear? Or...
Oh yeah, I think so. Well, it won't disappear, but it won't be reported, I don't think, widely like on CNN.
So they're just not going to do anything about it?
No. Derek Chauvin's attorneys can, like I said, use this as evidence to show that the original trial should be nullified.
The question, are they going to?
I think it's possible. Now, you can hear what this guy says. So this guy thinks that being a jurist is a good way to spark change. How about this? How about being a jurist is a good way to ensure justice? How about that? Because we don't want things changed from being just to being unjust, right? Or let's say you think they're unjust to be more unjust. You don't want to fight what is perceived to be injustice with absolutely clearly something that's unjust, right? This guy seems to think that, I assume what he means by change is the system's not just and we need to ensure that it is just, right? I assume that's what he means. But sending a man to prison who actually did not commit any crime, that's not justice. And it looks to me, by the fact that he was at a Black Lives Matter rally and he was in these clothes, indicates to me that he knew ahead of time how he was going to vote for this guy. He knew he was always going to say this guy was guilty. This is an indication of that. Well, let's read some of this. It says, one of the jurors in the murder trial of former Minneapolis, I'll switch it to this view. Minneapolis policeman Derek Chauvin may have misled the judge about his knowledge about the case and said in an interview that serving on such panels is a form of community activism. Brandon Mitchell, the first juror to come out publicly and do media interviews, about the Chauvin trial, told syndicated radio host Erica Campbell this week that serving on juries is important if we want to see change. I just played that for you. Mitchell described in other media interviews how he and all but one of the jurors, 11 jurors, were quickly ready to convict Chauvin on all charges, second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and manslaughter, in connection with the deaths last May of George Floyd. The incident sparked a wave of Black Lives Matter protests, many of which turned violent across the nation. And yet Mitchell, a 31-year-old black man who coaches high school basketball in Minneapolis, where Floyd's infamous death occurred, reportedly told Judge Peter Cahill during jury selection in March that he hadn't heard anything about the George Floyd civil case. I'd never heard about this.
There is no way you didn't hear about this.
Okay, so the civil case was another case, right? Another case where they sued, I think, the city or something like that. And the city ended up paying them like a ton of money, or maybe they sued Derek Chauvin. I don't remember exactly the details of that case. He said he may have heard some basic information in news reports, but about trial dates, but nothing that would have prevented him serving as an impartial juror. They're saying that he didn't hear about the civil case, but that's very specific. I think that that's possible because I look at this stuff for a job, and I didn't really pay that much attention to the civil case. I mean, I heard about it, but I didn't look into it. I didn't read any articles about the civil case. I was waiting for the real trial. So that's actually somewhat believable. I don't think that's something that's not believable, actually. Mitchell also told Chauvin's defense lawyer during questioning that he didn't know whether Chauvin did anything wrong or that he believed the officer had no intention of harming anyone. And that he believed the officer had no intention of harming anyone. Yeah, I'm not sure. If they came to this conclusion so very quickly, they were all ready to convict him immediately. It sounds like they were ready to convict him even before the trial started, because there's no way. I mean, I don't know. Let's see here. However, a Facebook post last August by Travis Mitchell, uncle of Brandon Mitchell, appears to show the future juror wearing a BLM hat and BLM shirt with a message that alluded to specifically to the George Floyd incident. Get your knee off our necks. Floyd died after Chauvin pinned him to the pavement, pressing his knee against his neck for more than 9 minutes. They should write, Floyd died of a drug overdose after Chauvin pinned him to the pavement. Let's see here. Some social media users suggested that Mitchell's views could become grounds for an appeal. And so now here's the thing. Grounds for an appeal. This has already been filed. So Derek Chauvin's attorney files motion for new trial. So this is the newest news that we have about this. Attorney Eric Nelson has filed a motion for a new trial for former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin in the death of George Floyd. Nelson filed the motion on the grounds of juror misconduct and that the court abused its discretion for failing to agree that the defense's request for a change of venue and sequestering the jury. And that's such a great point. I mean, I love that he's filing this under that, for that reason specifically, because, yeah, the court, I don't understand why he had to be tried there with a bunch of angry people who were also being subject specifically to terrorism by Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter was going and terrorizing the city, essentially insisting that to everyone that we go ahead and lynch this guy, Derek Chauvin, or else we're going to burn the city down, right? And I have footage of I forget what his name is, Ami something. There's a video, if you want to look him up on YouTube, Ami, I forget his last name. He goes around and he was the one that went around and asked everybody, like, are black people capable of getting ID in the DMV? And all these white kids at Berkeley were like, no, black people can't get ID. And then he goes to Harlem and asks all these black people, and they're like, yeah, of course we can get ID. We're not morons. And well, the same guy, he went around Minneapolis and he asked everybody, like, do you think that burning down the city is perfectly fine? And everybody was like, yep. And a lot of them he was like, do you think it's okay to kill white people, because, white people are racist and all this kind of stuff? And they're like, yeah, I think, maybe that's fine. And they were just like, okay with any kind of destruction, any kind of like, and some of them were, actively wanted, it seemed like they actively wanted to encourage this kind of thing. He asked them, hey, how many black people die every year in America from police, like unarmed black men? And they were like, thousands of black men, even though
9.
I think it was 25 unarmed black people died in 2019. 25.
9.
I think 9 were shot.
Okay.
And that was men specifically. Shot and killed by police, unarmed black men. But for the record, in 2019, it was 51 white people were murdered by police. Unarmed people were killed by police. I shouldn't say murdered, because I think some of it was probably accidents. But anyway, yeah, so there could be a new trial. We'll see. Obviously, I think that whole thing was ridiculous.
And there is no information how many years he is getting for convicted in 3 different types of murders.
Well, I'm not sure. Has he been sentenced yet? Because the sentencing happens after the conviction.
Okay.
I don't think he's been sentenced. Maybe he has. I don't know.
Can I read this comment from National Populist?
Please do.
Hearing a Russian immigrant speak so highly of our country, wanting an American flag pen brings me joy. Just to clarify, not wanting, but having it.
Yeah, she has one.
Two. This is one of those. Yeah.
And this has the.
It has we
the people.
We the people in the 1776.
That's the beginning of the Constitution. Yeah.
And it's very cool. I bought it on Etsy.
Oh, you bought it on Etsy.
It's like a handmade, just one of those.
Yeah. I like those pens that you have, actually. I don't use them that much because you have them hidden away, but
I have one in my car in case the police stop me, and I will sign my ticket with this pen.
The other thing that Valeria wants to do, and I've always thought this is quite cool, when she does take her, Pledge of Allegiance, when she becomes a citizen, she's actually going to wear a little Republican pin, like a little
I
Republican.
already bought them.
It's an American.
Like 2 years ago.
You want to show them? You got it somewhere?
Yeah.
All right, go for it. I will read the new story. So let's see here. What else do we have? All right. So story number 3. Trump launches his own communications platform. So this is fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. I just love this. So Donald Trump has launched a sort of alternative to Twitter, but there is one problem with it. I'll tell you what that problem is in one moment. First, Valeria has to show you something. Sorry, hold on. No, you can't show it close up because I think you're going to change the focus. All right, go for it. So this is the pin that Valeria is going to wear when she becomes a U.S. citizen. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, she's got a second one. Or that one. So what do you guys think? There you go. Do you think she should wear the American flag with the little Republican symbol or the Republican pin? They might not give you. Yeah, wear the other one. Yeah, it's more subtle. All right, go sit down. You trying to show him again? Okay, no. I see. Yeah, so let us know which one you guys like better. We're going to move on to this story. But there's a problem. Valeria. Did you hear this? That Trump's got his own Twitter now? But here's the problem, guys. It's only Trump. It's only Trump. So you would have to subscribe to this, and then you get notifications every time Trump tweets, right? Just like you would with Twitter or whatever. But the problem is there's nothing interactive about it. You can't go in and you can't tweet your friends. You can't say what you think. It's not a platform. It's just a It's just a web page basically with Trump's little messages, little tweets.
Well, he used the same. He used a Telegram as his personal Twitter.
Right. But see, what I want is a new Twitter that I can interact with, so that Donald Trump is one of the many things that I can read, and also I can communicate with my fans and all that kind of stuff. So if you have something that's more interactive like Twitter, then it's much more engaging. Now, I think this is a good start. If you want to go to Donald J. Trump /desk and you can read his tweets, whatever he says during the day. Oh man, you guys should see this cat. He is just like in heaven right now, hanging out with Valeria. Just bathing in the sun. Anyway. But what we need is an interactive version of this. So Donald Trump's people, get on that. Let's take Twitter market share and just, destroy them. Let's just make a conservative version of Twitter. It's a much harder thing to do to make an interactive site than to make just a site that expresses Trump's things. But I think this is the beginning of a beautiful thing if he can push it into something else. But anyway, I wanted to alert you guys to that. That's not really a news story, more of an announcement, but I think it's still important. All right, Valeria, would you like to read the next story?
Yes. Antrim County
in Michigan.
Plaintiffs introduced new evidence in 2020 election.
Yes. Okay. So new evidence has been introduced with regard to potential doctoring of the election in Antrim County, Michigan. So let's have a look at this. A real quick story. Michigan attorney Matthew DePerno filed an explosive new report in the ongoing Antrim County 2020 election lawsuit. According to DePerno, his team of experts was able to prove the voting machines were vulnerable to compromise. Dun, dun, dun. And the DePerno team say they were able to manipulate software that was then able to flip votes to Biden. So let's go ahead and look at his tweets here. This is really the important stuff. He says, we can flip votes from the top of the ticket to the bottom. We can flip only selected races. We can flip them all. We can flip just a few precincts in the county and shave 5% from one candidate. Want a constitutional amendment? Pass or fail? Michigan elections happening today. Do you think putting our intent on a ballot matters? Oh, shoot. Sorry, guys. Going back. There we go. He says, machines convert data and data can be manipulated. He says, imagine if somebody wanted to move Michigan from red to pink and then run the media narrative that people just don't like Trump. I can show you how to switch 160,000 votes at the precinct level. Matt DePerno says he will be able to show the tabulator tapes at the precinct level were different than paper ballots. Okay, now this was written by Jim Hoft, who's one of my favorite writers here at Gateway Pundit. In fact, part owner, I think, of the... There's two Hofts. I can't remember which one established the Gateway Pundit and which one's the brother. I think Jim Hoft established it. I can't remember, though. So, but that does not excuse this typo. Where is it? This is not lever. It's level. Come on, Jim. Get with the program. It's an easy typo to miss. At the precinct level were different than the paper ballots. So he also writes, imagine if someone wanted to move... Oh, yeah, I already read that one. Okay, well, anyway, so that's the end of the story. But the point is, this guy has found some serious potential for manipulation in elections. And so I think that is pretty jaw-dropping stuff. Will this make it to CNN? Not in a million years. But it's something I thought you guys should know about. This is at the Gateway Pundit if you want to read the story. All right, darling. One more story.
Can I read the super chat?
You can read a super chat. Go for it.
From Patreon Daniel.
From Patreon Daniel. Yeah,
the Republican pin definitely. Unrelated, I'm flying dual blue line American flags daily in support of the police department. Love your show.
Yeah, that's cool. That's great. Yeah, we still haven't put a bumper sticker on. She's going to put it. Did you ever get one in the mail? You ordered them, didn't you, from Amazon? You never ordered a bumper sticker?
It's hard to choose which.
Yes, so she's been perusing them. But yeah, okay, so he votes Republican pin. But I actually like the American flag with the little Republican thing. I think it's a little bit more subtle. I like that one.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and read the next story.
Okay. Texas Democratic official calls Tim Scott an Oreo, then resigns.
Yeah, this is more racism from leftists. Yeah, so at the top of the show, we saw that woman who was calling the Mexican guy, saying that he wants to be white and he's a murderer and he's a racist and all this kind of stuff. Just crazy, offensive, racist crap coming out of that woman. And now we have more racism coming from the left. Shocking. It says here, you know what's so weird is like the narrative is always conservatives are racist, right? That's just like an established truth in America, which is so stupidly wrong. Right, it's one of these Blue Anon myths that I talk about. By the way, I posted this video about Blue Anon, #Blue Anon. If you haven't seen it, watch this video. Fantastic video. But it's gotten very, very little traction. Nobody's watched this video. I think it may have something to do with the thumbnail's not very exciting or something. I'm not really sure. Watch that video. Excellent video. I just talk about all of the misinformation coming from the left, and it's one of my better videos, I think. So this Democrat says, I've embarrassed myself and my party. No, you haven't, dude. That's what the Democrat Party does. They always say racist stuff against black conservatives. It's very typical. Okay, you're just a typical. You're suffering from what they call being a Democrat. This is what Democrats do. The Democrat Party co-chairman Gary O'Connor. I got his picture right here. Old fat white bald dude. He basically looks like your typical, He kind of looks like the guy that is stereotyped in movies as like the Southern white racist, right? He's kind of like gonna be like, "Get out of the pool, boy. We don't like your kind here." Right? That doesn't really exist in real life, but they always put it in movies. Gary O'Connor of Lamar County, Texas, resigned Tuesday after facing backlash after calling Republican South Carolina Senator Tim Scott an Oreo. Now, a lot of like Trump supporting Republicans, they don't like Tim Scott because they think Tim Scott's more of a rhino. But I haven't really seen anything like that. I guess I haven't researched Tim Scott well enough to know that. I think he did a pretty good job in his response to Biden in the last speech. There was the address to Congress, and then Tim Scott refuted that. He did the Republican response. And I think he did a fantastic job. But people are saying they don't like Tim Scott because he's too much of a rhino. I don't care if you like him or you don't like him. You don't call him things like Oreo or Uncle Tim. They were calling him Uncle Tim. You don't be racist against him because you don't like his politics. What a bunch of a-holes. The leftists are so annoying. Okay, O'Connell called for the senator called the senator the racially derogatory term following Scott's rebuttal to President Joe Biden's joint address to Congress Wednesday for the Republican Party. And this is a problem that the left has. They all get excited. Oh, yeah, let's make fun of these Republican. Ha, 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 ha. Let's jump on this bandwagon. And then they end up saying something stupid like this. I had hoped that Scott might show some common sense, but it seems clear he is little more than an Oreo with no real principles, O'Connor wrote. O'Connor faced backlash from fellow Texas politicians, including Republican Governor Greg Abbott, who called the comments disgusting, hateful, and completely unacceptable and demanded his resignation. So here's the tweet in which he demanded his resignation. Texas Republican Party Chairman Alan West said I assume there's supposed to be a had in here. Daily Caller messed that up. Said he had a gift for O'Connor while holding a box of the famous cookies. I have a gift and a message for Lamar County Democrat Chair Gary O'Connell, said, and the Texas Democrats. And he's holding Oreos here. Let's go ahead and play this.
Hey, greetings, everyone. Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, the chairman of the Republican Party of Texas. You know, a lot of people on the Democrat Party side continue to talk about how Republicans and people that don't agree with them are white supremacists, racists. The fact that we want election laws that makes us Jim Crow. Well, the Democrats were the ones that started Jim Crow. But just recently, a former colleague of mine, Senator Tim Scott, some Texas Democrat county chairman from Lamar County, Gary O'Connor, referred to Senator Tim Scott as an Oreo. And so I just think that I will just walk over to the Texas Democrat Party or mail it to them, a nice little package of Oreos. Because until this guy resigns, I'm going to stand up and speak out against the party of systemic racism, the party of the soft bigotry of low expectations. They want to call people such as myself that don't believe in them, that don't want to be on the 21st economic plantation Oreos. I'm going to continue to make sure that we send Oreos to the Texas Democrat Party, because I am sick and tired of the duplicitous hypocrisy of the true party of racism.
All right, guys. So here's the thing. I love Alan West. I think Alan West is an awesome dude. Now, a lot, again, I haven't researched Alan West like in any depth. I'm not aware of any criticisms of him. I just think he's a cool guy. I love what he says here. I think what he said there was great. But I, what's this guy's name? Gary O'Connor. Molly Hemingway responded about this too, apparently. About the Uncle Tim thing. They go into the Uncle Tim thing. But let me just give you my 2 bits here. I'm going to agree with Gary O'Connell a little bit here. I'm going to agree with this racist Democrat a little bit. I will say that Tim Scott and Alan West and all these black guys are very much like Oreos. You know why? Because Oreos are amazing.
That's true.
Who doesn't like an Oreo?
And then, I like Oreo. Like a thin ones?
Yeah, the thin ones. The
with
thin mint.
mint.
You like the thin mint. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so the reason why do you know why the Oreo thing is a racist thing?
It's because it's white and black?
Kind of. It's black on the outside, but white on the inside.
Yeah.
Get it? So that's the metaphor. It's like, oh, you look black, but you're really white. Screw you, white person. As if being white is bad or something. Well, I'll tell you what. Oreo is a beautiful mix of dark and light.
It's like coffee and milk.
And white. Huh?
Coffee and milk.
Yeah, like coffee and milk. Who doesn't like coffee and milk?
You?
So you know what? That's true.
You're
I like
straight black coffee.
I like straight black coffee. Just like I like my women.
I like black like my man. They remember the clip from the movie that the little girl on a plane when the little boy offers her coffee.
Yeah.
She's like, yes, of course. And he's like, creamer? No, I like my coffee black, like my man. Do you remember that?
Is that from like the 70s or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Vaguely. I think it's from Airplane.
Yes.
The movie Airplane. Yeah, that's a great line. Anyway, but I think the guy actually could have got away with this if he would have said, look, I was just being a little silly. I'll tell you what, it's a compliment, because who doesn't love Oreos? Everybody loves Oreos. So Oreos are a good thing, guys. I think he might have been able to like play it off as a joke or play it off with some humor. But
What's the sound?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's annoying.
It is annoying. Do you want to go upstairs and knock and be like, what are you doing? Nope, stopped. Must have heard us. Okay, so I think, but that's it for the for today's news. Unless you have something else to say. Anyway, so at the end of the day, what did we learn? We learned that Oreos are delicious. And that's the news for the day. From do you want to take questions and comments? Do we have any super chats? Does anybody have anything interesting to say?
Somebody said I like steak.
What does that have to do with anything?
I think it's about coffee and Oreos and.
Sure. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the super chats here. So I like steak. Oh, Mark and Alberta said that. Who doesn't like steak, Mark and Alberta? Everybody loves steak. But you know what's weird about me? People are going to get mad at me about this. I don't like my steak always medium rare. I like my steak medium rare with a specific cut. Which cut do I like medium rare, darling?
Filet mignon.
Filet mignon. You know why? Because filet mignon has very little fat. And so if you overcook it, it gets dried out very easily, right? So the really expensive cuts you want medium rare. But actually the cheaper cuts, if you cut up a bit of like a chuck roast into steaks and you cook that, you actually want that well done. A lot of people think that's heresy. A lot of people think that's crazy. But I will die on this hill. This is, if you have a fatty, marbled chunk of steak, you do not want it medium rare. That you want to render all that fat out, and you want to caramelize those edges. And you want to, well, it's not really caramelizing it. I forget what they call that effect, but when you brown you want to brown both sides. Anyway, you want to brown it. You want it. I like a fatty steak. I like it well done. But again, like a filet mignon, you do want that medium rare. And I will fight any chef who disagrees with me. All right, let's see here. Yeah, somebody wrote, depends on the cut. That's right, Jesus says God. Demon Slayer says porterhouse fillet is a lady's cut. I don't really know what a porterhouse is. I'm not that knowledgeable about steak, I'll be honest. Paper Plate says Chris has never been so wrong on anything ever. I know people. I don't understand people on this. I mean, it's the one thing I find that even Republicans can be delusional about. Yeah. No, certain steaks you need to have well done. I'm sorry, you do. We need to get Anomaly on our show. Somebody says, I don't know who Anomaly is. I don't know who that is. We'll have to look into that. Frank James says, did Yankee not explain TM Bingo to you yet? No, I have not been explained toxic masculinity bingo. Yeah, Ashley, you're going to have to explain that to me. I don't know what that is. Wait, hold on. Is this bingo like something that we say commonly, like stuff that we do commonly, and they have things like, oh, if Chris says this or if Valeria says this, like if Chris talks about his exes, then that's one of the bingo things.
That's when the people take a drink.
That is messed up, you guys. That's disturbing.
That sun over your head is beautiful. It's like the reflection. But I know that I do need to wash that window badly.
Let's see here. Otaku Magnet says, I knew you would be the type to ruin steak. You like kale chips too. I do like kale chips. Who doesn't like kale chips? Kale chips are delicious. My brother's wife made us kale chips once, baked them in the oven. You don't remember this? She took actual kale, put it on a tray, put it in the oven, salted it with sea salt. You don't remember this? Over at John's place? You don't remember this? Okay, anyway. It's delicious. I don't understand what's wrong with kale chips. But yeah, they got mad at everybody's like, yes, exes. That's too funny. Everybody's yelling bingo. I didn't mention my exes. I just mentioned mentioning my exes. It's not the same thing.
Mentioning my exes.
Yeah. Oh, another thing of the bingo is when Chris says, I'm going to beat my wife. I do say that a lot. Has yet to happen, but she beats me occasionally. But
at least once a day.
Well, no, maybe once every 2 days. But legit. I have a lawsuit pending. All right, well, that's it for us, I think. I mean, we could be here all day with you guys. We really could, but I have a bunch of work to do because I got to put out some Mr. Reagan videos, and Valeria has some work to do. So shall we go? What?
We didn't do the intro.
We didn't do the intro, but we'll do it as we leave. All right, we love you guys. You are the best people on all of YouTube. Really, truly the best fans. We think you're amazing. Valeria, do you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. All right, see you guys tomorrow. Uh-oh, where's my outro? Here it is. Okay. I'm on the wrong thing. All right, bye, guys. The least professional show on YouTube.
Sure.
Toxic masculinity. She's toxic, I'm masculine. No, shoot, I got that backwards even. I'm toxic, she's masculine. We'll see you next time. Toxic masculinity. All right, that was good. I really do love those guys.